powered itself on, and it's charging our batteries for us. How nice and easy is that? We'll just wait there. I'm just going to have my drink, and you should see it switch off. If I position myself there while I have a swig of my drink, you should see that switch back off. As soon as it gets greater, then there you go. Because it's reading greater than 30 now, and the cool thing is it's not going to come back on now until we get back down to 27%. Hello Vikings, welcome back to Stationeers. We're going to be finishing off the power room today, and that's going to involve applying some IC logic. I was going to do it with just IC chips, but it's going to be counterproductive. We might as well jump straight to the programming side of things just to save power. This room's going to cost quite a bit of power to keep running, but in turn it's going to keep itself running. So, happy days. Yeah, if we need to, we can address the logic chips at another point, but for today we are going to be playing around with some more programming side of things. So I've printed off a load of stuff that we're going to need in this room. This stuff is secondary. If we've got enough time, we'll throw this up today. This is going to be putting the tank together and sealing off the actual generator room. But the first part of the video is just going to be, yeah, getting the automation part of it sorted. So for that we're going to need the computer, and we are going to throw, for now, I'm thinking we can throw the computer here. We are going to need to run power to it, which is fine. Screwdriver, put it together. Yep. And we are going to need to place one of these in. Right, and what we're going to do next is let's run some cable. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to put some monitors on display. And let's actually see. Let's put one up just to see, actually, and then we can always get back to the actual design. So they're going to sit actually there, or we could have them there actually. If they sit there, okay. So we're looking at putting them there. I think that will work. And there. Let's just place these in for now, and we'll figure out the rest as we usually do. Like I said, that's going to be secondary, but I do actually need to run power through this room. What could we get? Power put in, and I'll be 100% honest with you, I am not doing this all fresh off of my mind. It is my code, but it's the case of I spent last night actually trying to figure it out, just because I didn't want to stutter my way through the episode. So I have actually got it. I've got it saved in a library, but I figured I'd type it out so I can talk through it. Yeah. So things can actually, excuse me, be discussed. I need to get power to this. So for now, we'll discuss the actual coding as we go through it, as opposed to me having to just read it out to you. I can tell you as I'm typing it what I'm expecting the code to do. I realised I've done this in a very roundabout way. Oh dear. I'm trying to keep everything separate, but it's not going to work. In fact, I'm going to put an excuse me. I'm going to put a LED display in as well. So that's going to have to be hooked up anyway. So it doesn't really matter. I'll try and make it look as network neat as possible. But it just isn't going to happen. So with that being said, let's get this down, and we can put this here, because it's going to be hidden anyway underneath the floor. And we do this. And we do this side. Happy days. Now, as far as I'm aware, yeah, we're gonna have to run a data cable around this way. Well, that is right. Let's just do that for now. I'm not going to be happy about it, but let's just do it. Just because the computer's going to be need to hooked up onto the data. Right. And what else we're going to need? Now, where should I put this? We're going to have... Need more consoles. Do we need a large one? Medium. We could do a medium display. Let's get one more console printed, guys. Just quickly. We're doing medium. And that's just going to display our overall battery percentage. I'll tell you what, let's have it. I don't know if that's going to read upside down. I really hope it isn't. Hopefully not. Cable blocks. Ah. Right. So you should have power now. Looks like it's the right way up, but never gonna be able to tell. And we just place this in here. And I believe we have got everything. So we've got the IC housing. What we're going to do is actually call this one auto gen control. And for this, we are going to start putting a few things in, shall we? So we're going to have a battery in D0. The battery large 1. I actually named this. See, I went through several ways of trying to do this. And the first time I tried coding it so it would read all of them. I was trying to read the. Let's show you what we've got. So I was trying to read the ratio. As you can see, that's saying it is just 48%. And this one is showing at 94%, which is probably accurate to what it's actually displaying. So what I was trying to do was batch read the whole entire group of batteries. It wasn't having that, and it won't let you do it that way for some reason. So what I resulted in was just reading one battery, but I moved away from reading the ratio because I obviously need to figure out all of them. So one other thing we have got here is a cable analyzer we're going to be using, and off of the cable analyzer we're going to read in the potential power off of that, and you'll see why in a minute. So we want the battery large there. I'm just looking over to my sheet because, like I said, I have got it rewritten out. Waste tank. There's our waste tank. That's what I thought was that. Should still have room in there, surely. What can we do with that?
Waste tank critical.
We can open it. Just let that out. Do that like that. I am going to look at a way of harvesting that at some point. I just haven't set the tanks up for it upstairs yet. So here we were looking for the analyzer, as I just mentioned. So the cable analyzer. Then we're going to want the generator itself. Generator. And then we're going to want the LED. Perfect. So we can switch that on. And we should have everything. And now we're getting to the coding. Fun bit, the bit you all came for. So we've got the auto gen control, and we're going to edit. So the first thing we're going to do is set up some aliases. So we're going to do, obviously, alias the battery in D0. You can call these whatever you want, obviously. When we're all the alias is doing is you're just naming that pin. So instead of having to refer to the pin, you can just refer to what you've named it. So so we're just going to label these in to what we put them in on the pins. LED on the D3. What we're going to do after that is we're just going to alias some registries. Again, this just keeps things neater and it saves you having to remember registry numbers. So we're going to do alias. We're going to do battery max because we're going to be finding out the maximum charge a battery can hold. And we're going to register that. Save that in R0. We're going to do alias actual charge. So that's how we're going to figure out how much charge they've actually got, which would be the potential. We're then going to do max charge. So how much can all the batteries we've got hold? We'll put that in R2. Then we're going to figure out the percentage. So for that, we're going to have to save into power percent. Again, like I said, you can name these what you want. And if I'm going about this in a roundabout way, you can always let me know. If this is how you would do it, but this is how I figured out doing it. I don't know if it's efficient this way, but it works for me. And then what we're going to do, so from that, we're going to want to load the battery max. So now we're actually loading what we're storing on battery max, which is R0. And we're going to load from the battery, which is the pin D0. And we want the maximum. And basically we're telling that to load into battery max the maximum charge that battery can hold, just that one battery. And then what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that, and we're going to save that in the max charge, because like I said, we wanted the maximum charge all our batteries can hold, the one battery max, by 4, because we've got 4 batteries. So if you add more batteries, if you had 5 batteries, you change this to 5. If you only got 1, you wouldn't need to do this. If you had 2, then 2. So this bit, you just change that number to how many batteries you got in your system, and that's the only bit excuse me, that you'd have to come back and change if you needed to change this. With that, what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to save the LED into mode 1. That will allow us to display on the LED a percentage. In fact, let's leave that off for a minute. I'll leave a little dot. What can we do? Nope. Should be a way of just leaving text here. I don't know how. But we'll come back to that line in a sec actually. I'll show you how it's going to display and then I'll show you the difference. So we're going to start the actual code now. So everything above this only needs to run the once. So now we actually put the start part of our loop. Let's just go get some water quickly. Sorry to break this up. That will save there. Otherwise, the suit's just going to moan at us. Okay. So, we're going to start the actual loop now, and this loop is what is actually going to always run. So we're going to load it into our actual charge. So we're trying to find out now how much actual power we've got, which is going to read off of the analyzer. And we're going to find out the power potential. And these have to be spelt with the capitals that I've put in there because they're actual, I think they're listed as functions. Nope. They are device variables. So you actually have to, if you're wondering about device variables, they're all here. But I can make a video trying to explain that as best as I can. As I said, I'm still learning this. So once we've got that, what we're actually going to do is we now need to find out. So we know how much power we've actually got, and we know the maximum charge we can hold. So now we need to figure out, well, how much of a percentage actually is that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to divide that. We're going to store it in power percent because we want that number stored, and that's the percentage we're trying to reach. And so we're going to divide the actual charge by the maximum charge that we can have. And then what we're going to do is save to the LED under the setting the power percent. Now if I save this, and actually what we can do, just for argument's sake, is jump to start, just so you can see it looping, and export that and turn it on. Always helpful. Okay, well that's good to know that we now know it's going to display upside down. So what we can do for that is change it around quickly. There's obviously LEDs. Displays do not self-rotate, which is good to know. Let's quickly swap this. Not to worry. Make the inventory tidy again. We will reset this in. Probably have. That was under D3. AD display. There we go. So at the moment it's displaying it as a decimal, which would be 25%. And if I hover over it, that's the state. That is the actual charge that is in the system. Like I said, we don't want it displaying like that. So what we're going to do here is at the start, you initially set this to save the LED into mode 1. And we confirm that and go back and export it. We now get percent. How handy is that? That is perfect. Excuse me. Still got the remnants of this cough. And drinking orange juice to try and ease it. Right. hopefully you're with me at the moment and you're keeping up, and I'm explaining it rather well. What we're going to do next is, where were we? We are going to now basically set a batch, not a batch, a branch. So we're going to set a branch if it is less than. So we're basically going to branch off now. So if it's less than, we're going to store this in, oh no, we're asking if the power percent, is less than, let's say 0.2, which would be 20%. We're going to jump to gen on. If it is greater than power percent and say 80, we're going to jump to gen off. Okay, and if it's not any of those, we're going to tell it, well, jump back around to the start. Thank you very much. But what's going to happen is if it is less than, we're going to go to gen on. And what's going to happen in gen on? Well, firstly, we're going to save the generator. Those to the on position, which is 1. But then we're going to ask, now the generator is on, has the percentage gone above 80? And if it has, go to gen off. And then, of course, if it's not going to branch to gen off, then, well, just jump around to the start, please, and start the whole thing again. Because it will still then be below. Right. Jump around to the start. And I just need to scroll my sheet down. And then underneath, we're going to have the other branch, which was gen off. And here, we're going to have the same again. So, but this time the reverse. So now we're going to say, well, you've reached the desired percentage, and switch the generator off, please. Where are we? Oh, there we go. And then jump back round to the start. And that is it. So now, let's just show you these because for some reason I'm not caught up with what's going on. And confirm that, and we're at export it. Now, we've obviously set that at 20%, and it's not at 20% yet. So just to give you an idea of how it's working, what I'm going to do is set that at 27, and I'll set it at 30, so you can see it fire up. Let's just make sure we've got enough coal in there. 2 coal is not going to be enough. Got a bag of coal here. Let's just drop that one for now. Drop that in. So it's all switched off at the moment, and what we're going to do is, just to show you, so we need to change these around. So what did we say? 27 and 30. So now it should switch on because it's below 27, and it shouldn't switch off until we get above 30. There you go. It's powered itself on, and it's charging our batteries for us. How nice and easy is that? We'll just wait there. I'm just going to have my drink, and you should see it switch off. If I position myself there while I have a swig of my drink, you should see that switch back off. soon as it gets greater, then there you go. Because it's reading greater than 30 now. And the cool thing is, it's not going to come back on now until we get back down to 27%. And that will charge our batteries up beautifully. So let me just change that back to the actual settings I want it at, which is going to be 20% and 80. Again, you can set this however you want, have the numbers where you want them. That's just how I want them for now. Export that. And that is that. Now, you can move this computer now away and just leave all the wires plugged in and make sure this chip stays here, and that will run perfectly. What we're going to do now is start setting up the rest of the room, which is probably going to use some coding for this. So actually, you know what, I'm going to save that to the next episode, actually, because I just wanted to get this done for you guys so you can see this. In the next episode, what we're actually going to do, let's see how much left in here now, is we're going to hook this chain of pipes chutes up to here. So we've got a feed system going in here of coal, and like I said, I was going to put a sorter here anyway, which I have. So this one runs upstairs next to the furnace, because we want some coal for the furnace and we want some coal for obviously down here now in the generator. So that will automatically feed into there. I will probably at some point extend this room back and put a silo in to supply that room, to supply this with, and then we can put another display up that says how much inventory of coal we've got in the silo, so we know if we ever need to go out and harvest that. That'll be the next goal. These consoles, well, you'll see in the next episode, but in the next episode there will be some more programming side of things. We're going to set up basically the automatic turn on of the vent in this room when the generator turns on, to suck all the air into this tank. This tank will then automatically cool down. We won't have to push any buttons for this. It will automatically cool down, and then when it's at the right temperature, we're going to send it upstairs into the filtration. So that's what we're going to be working on next. And then after that, I think that will be the power room complete, and we will move on to something else, which is probably, we can look at logic eject at furnace, and then we'll look at the electronics printer mod as well, because I want to automate this as well. Well, automate the ingots moving around. So at the same time, we might as well stick the mods on these if we can. Okay, so hopefully that you've enjoyed that and you found it useful, and I've explained it well. Fingers crossed. If I have, stick the thumbs up, smash the like button, leave a comment if you would have done it any differently, or if there's a more efficient way of doing it. I'm always open to see. And well, if you just come along for this and you're impressed by it, well, subscribe if you haven't already done so, because we're going to be doing some more stuff like that, as I just explained. And hit the notification bell and you'll be able to find out when the next episode's out. And as always, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.